Welcome back to another class on Chofetz Chaim and Mishlei. Before we start the book, I was told this week there were a few break-ins. And at one point there was a break-in where there were about 30 cop cars trying to search the guy that was hiding in people's backyards. Right? Chas v'shalom lo lein on nobody. We don't chas v'shalom wish that anybody's house should be broken into. But the question begs to be asked: why, when you have somebody lo lein and breaks into somebody's house, everybody, not only one person, not only the person whose house it was broken into, but it shakes the whole community. Everybody starts worrying. Why, when there are real break-ins, chas v'shalom, everybody's afraid? But why, when there is a break-in into your neshama, into your soul, nobody's afraid? Why, when the Yetzer Hara comes and he steals time from you, he steals your avodat Hashem from you, nobody calls the police, nobody even knows that he's robbing you of your life? Do you know why nobody calls? Like I just said, because nobody knows. Because they think it's normal. I want to read for you today a powerful Chofetz Chaim and Mishlei, where he brings down this whole idea that the Yetzer Hara acts like a ganav, like a thief. He's professional, but not a thief that does things behind your back. He's in front of you, you know it, but he's able to come from different angles to show you that he's your friend, but in reality he's not. And until a person realizes it, the Chofetz Chaim is going to say towards the end, his whole life has passed him. Let's see this inside. He brings the verse in Mishlei in Perek Aleph Pasuk Bet. The verse says, Ad matai peta'im ta'ahavu peti. How long will you, the naive ones, love temptation? Veletim laton chamdu lahem. And the mockers, how long will you keep loving to laugh? It is known what our rabbis of blessed memory had said. Yitzuru shel adam mitgaber umitchadesh alav bechol minei arama lahapilo birishito. That the inclination of a person strengthens and renews itself on the person every single day with all types of trickery in order to make the person fall into his net. It's a chazal, it's not my words. Knowing this, a person has to be on a watch out. You have to be careful. You're walking in the street, you see a modest woman. You're on your phone, chas v'shalom lo leinu, you're about to enter a site where you're not supposed to be. You have to understand the Yetzer Hara, he comes to you as a friend. Look over here, do that, go here. You have to be on the watch out, on the lookout. You know, you ever saw in Rabbi Yigal Chaim of Shlita one time said that when they fought the war back then in Eretz Yisrael, when they were fighting against the Arabs, that there was sand, there was a lot of sand. And it was him and his comrades, there was a lot of people that were trying to get in to go and start a war. But something happened. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made such a strong wind that it blew so hard that it was impossible for people to stand it. They all turned around and it was blowing. Now you have to imagine the sand, everything's going on them. And they don't know what to do, and they're just holding themselves as tight as they can not to fly away. Few minutes later, when the wind stops, they turn around to continue walking. They realized that that whole part of the land was full with mines. That had they stepped on it, they would have blown up. Why am I saying this? The same thing with us. We have to be very careful. It's only a matter of time that we step on the wrong mine. We press the wrong button. We look where we're not supposed to look before we blow up, chas v'shalom. But not blow up physically, blow up spiritually. A person needs to realize that the Yetzer Hara strengthens, just like you strengthen yourself in work, in working out, and everything else, You better yourself. The Yitzhar also does exactly the same thing, but he's not doing it on him for him. He's doing it against you to make you fall into his net. It is known that time is the most precious resource that a person has. Because with that time, a person is able to make an accounting of the soul, how one can benefit, how one can better himself for eternity. However, the Yitzhar knows this. So what does the Yitzhar do? Here we go. Now the Yitzhar contemplates, how can I steal that time from him so he doesn't do an accounting? In the beginning, what does the Yitzhar tell the person? In the beginning, he tells you, take many business dealings under your belt in order to distract a person for the majority part of the day. Like Pirkei tells us, Marbe nechasim, marbe daga. You have a lot of property, you have a lot of worries. Just the opposite of what our rabbis of blessed memory had said. The ones who had our true intent at heart, what did the Chachamim say? Minimize your business dealings and toil in Torah. So therefore, what does the Yitzhar do? First step the Yitzhar does, he says, take upon different business dealings. After that, he knows that you're still going to have time after when you finish working, correct? So what does he do? Lest the person can have more time left. Now he entices the person to go smoke a lot. That this takes a very large portion from a person's life. Maybe he's going to have a little more time left. Maybe he's going to have a little more time left after the business dealing, after smoking. He tells him, go take a newspaper. Start seeing what's going on around the world. It's not enough to have one page for the week. He needs to have one big page for every single day. In order for him not to have any moment during the day. In order to be able to contemplate and to make an accounting of his soul. So you see over here the Yitzhar, how does it work? It sees to it that it robs you of your time. What time? You have time. What time? That time where you could be alone by yourself and make an accounting to your neshama to better yourself for the world to come. In general, how does the Yitzhar behave with a person? Just like a thief behaves with a person. How? If the thief wants to steal from a person, how is he going to steal from him? He's not going to come and openly take it. They're going to see it. So what does he do? He comes and he shows himself as he's like one of his friends. Now when he wants to steal something from his pocket and he senses that the owner is realizing that he's trying to rob him. So what does he do? He tries to distract him with other things. Oh, look at this. Did you see what happened over there? California fire and so on and so forth. Until he's being distracted, he goes and he snatches his wallet from his pocket. Kain oseh haYetzer hara. So too the Yetzer hara does exactly the same thing. Matrid alav me'od u'me'od. He distracts us very, very much with a lot of things. Look there, go there, do this over here, news, this, that. Rabotai, I'm not telling the person can have downtime, but all days should be downtime? That's nuts. People tell me sometimes they're on their phone just watching the reels or Instagram or Facebook. Or it's X now, it's no longer Twitter, it's X. Right? They're on it hours. But that is the way of the Yetzer Hara. He knows how to rob you from your life. He knows how to rob your time. As long as you don't have that time for you and yourself, the Yetzer Hara ain't worried about nothing. He's doing his job. You're not doing the virus. You're right, but you're not doing any accounting how to better yourself. That's what he says over here. Keno say Yetzer Hara, matrid alav me'od u'me'od. He distracts the person very much. Kidei shelo yargish ma shebe'emtza. In order for the person not to sense what's in the middle, notel chiyud nafsho mimenu. Which is what? That he's taking, he is robbing us of our own very lives. He doesn't want us to realize that. So what he's doing, he distracts us with this and that and that and that. And this, and similar to this, that's what it says in the verse. Ad matai peta'im tahavu peti v'letim latzon chamdu lahem. What does this verse mean? If you look at the verse where it says Ad matai peta'im tahavu peti, how long are the naive ones going to love temptation? Take the word peti and you could use it to also a word which means mifade, to entice. So he says, Ad matai titfatu. How long are you guys going to be enticed? Le'atzat Yetzer Hara, to the counsel of the evil inclination. Hamifate etchem le'at le'at, where he entices you little by little. Actually, until the end, hu gozel mikem kol zmanei chayechem. He robs you of your whole life. Your whole lifetime passed, and you don't know where did the time go. Did it ever happen to you? You ask yourself, wait, I'm 30, I'm 40, I'm 50. Where did my whole life go? That's what, Rabotai, a person has to make time for himself. It's important to make time for your wife and for your children. But what about yourself? Sit down with yourself and make it accounting. How is my davening? How's my learning Torah? How's my avodat Hashem? How am I treating my wife? How am I treating my kids? Do I give the proper respect in the Beit Knesset? If I'm a woman, do I dress modest? If I'm a woman or man, how do I speak? Do I get angry? Do I curse? Am I cheap? Do I spend a lot of money for nothing? A person really has to sit down. You know, by the way, there is a sefer that's called, I think, it's called Cheshbon HaNefesh. I believe I saw it in the gift world one time, very long time ago. It's called the accounting of the soul. And also you have midot, Rabotai. What about our midot? Are we stingy? Are we good at heart? Do we envy other people? There's so much, Rabotai. There's so much that one can look into himself and work on himself to become a better Jew, to become a better Eved Hashem. That's the secret. You become a better Jew, a better Eved Hashem, Rabotai, you will feel every single moment, you will feel every single second, because you know you're living that minute, you're living that second. Nobody can take that away from you. And this is why they told the Chofetz Chaim towards the end of his life, if I'm paraphrasing the story, when one time he was thinking one second, where did my 30 seconds from this day go? And he was able to remember, and he started crying. How can I not remember where did the 30 seconds go? A person has to be on top of his time. You have to have a schedule. Time to daven, time to eat, time to learn, time to work, time to be with one's wife, with the children, with the family, with the grandparents, relatives, whatever it's going to be. But Rabotai, if you're not going to run your schedule, if you're not going to have a goal, what you're going to plan to do tomorrow, and so on and so forth, somebody else is going to run your schedule. And who's that somebody else? That is the Yetzer Hara. Don't allow the Yetzer Hara to run your schedule, because his running your schedule is only going to ruin your life. Rabotai, have a great day. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen. Amen.